Man, I tell people all the time, the biggest thing that you can do is just get out there and find like-minded people, find events, whether it's music conferences or beat battles or um, just anywhere where you can find people who love doing what you do with the same things that you do, and just talk to them, man, and network. Like, I think people really underestimate the power of just talking to people.
One, two, yeah. Come on. 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2. 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2. Yes, sir, you are tuned in. This is for the SB1200, ASR 10s and NPC heroes. This is for the crate digging, loop getting, sound manipulators, the Fruity Loop reasoning machine innovators that pump the bass and frequently freak the kick in a stand till it slaps in your speakers. The sound providers that make sure the song is tight. Shout out to the producers, beats grinding live. Shout out to the producers, beats grinding live.
Welcome to the Beats Grinding Life podcast with your host Siren, a weekly interview podcast with inspiring music producers, where every week you will learn from a different music producer how to potentially take your music career to the next level.
Today's episode of Beats Grinding Life is brought to you by Audible. Get a free audio download and 30-day free trial at beatsbooks.com. Over 180,000 titles to choose from on your iPhone, Android, Kindle, or MP3 player. Some recommended readings by past Beats Grinding Life guests like 48 Laws of Power, 7 Habits of Highly Effective People, The Secret, Tools of Titans, and The Song Machine are all available with Audible. Once again, go to beatsbooks.com to get your free book. What's up, Beat Grinders? This is another episode of Beats Grinding Life. I'm your host, Siren Beats, and with us today we have Mitchell, the Innovator, Tillotson.
Yes, sir.
All right, y'all. Well, you guys are definitely in for a treat because Mitchell, the Innovator, Tillotson is not only a music producer, but an audio engineer, a sound designer, and a songwriter, representing the DC, Baltimore area. Right now, he is residing in Orlando. The Full Sail graduate and Navy vet is currently making ripples within the industry and has just released a sound kit with past Beats Grinding Life SoundOracle entitled Sample Genesis. Yeah, how you doing, man?
I'm doing good. How about yourself?
Man, I'm doing great, man. Doing great. Man, thank you for coming on. Thank you again, man. I really appreciate it.
Hey, my pleasure, brother.
Well, man, hey, I just told the listeners a little bit about you, man. Why don't you just fill in the blanks, man, and let them know a little bit more about who you are?
Yeah, so like you said, my producer name is The Innovator. I grew up I was a military brat growing up, so we kind of moved around, and then, my father settled in Maryland, and then kind of got into, music, and when I was in Maryland. Fast forward, I joined the military when I was 21, and I did 7 years in that, doing a whole nother thing, doing computers, and realized that, that just wasn't what I wanted to do. So, I decided to make that move back into music, and this was around 2012. And, at this time, everything had changed. I'm 31 now. When I first started, there was no social media. There was no YouTube, Facebook, so, it was definitely a lot more difficult back in the day. So when I started getting back to it again, it was just, so much to learn. Technology had changed so drastically since I last got into music. So, I went ahead and made a decision to, go to school. And, at the time, I think Full Sail had just started music production as a degree program.
Cool.
So, I thought that would be my best bet. So I packed up my stuff in Virginia. At the time, I was living in Norfolk, or Virginia Beach, actually.
Nice.
And moved down here to Orlando, and, and kind of made the most of that.
Okay, that's what's up, man. I mean, I'm just living in that area where you grew up, man, in the DMV area, man. It's it always fascinates me because the music there, man, it just seems like it's so rich. I mean, there's so many legendary hip hop producers that came out of that area, and the music is so much different than it is in the rest of the country. I mean, with go-go music inspiring, a bunch of that, man. How was it growing up, with that with that kind of music all around you?
Man, you know what? To be honest, I didn't really appreciate it until I moved out of that area. Because just growing up in that area, just so used to. Yeah, I mean, in DC you got go-go, in Baltimore we got club music. And it was just something that I was used to.
Right.
So it really wasn't like weird or different until I kind of joined the military and I went to all these different places, and I was like, oh man, y'all didn't grow up listening to this, or you don't know what this is.
Right.
So yeah, for me it was just always normal. So.
Right. Okay. Well, that's what's up, man. Well, you briefly talked about when you first started making music, before you had joined the military and stuff. Just talk about that a little more, man. I want to know what made you get into music production. What made you want to start this thing?
Yeah, for sure. I think my earliest childhood memory, I remember this was probably 1991 or 2. I remember my parents had got me this Play School tape recorder, and the first album that I had was Michael Jackson's Dangerous.
Ooh, okay.
And yeah, and I'll never forget, man, I love that album. I would play that cassette like all the time. And little did I know at the time that the producer behind most of that work was Teddy Riley. So I mean, that's like my earliest memory of music.
Right.
But I still I had a love for music, but I didn't really get into music until I say probably around like 13 or 14. That's when my mom, she bought me a Yamaha, like some cheap Yamaha with speakers on it. And there was this feature where you could make music.
Dope.
And I would just play around and record stuff. I think it was only like 6 tracks on there. And I just thought it was dope. So I would just go to school telling people I made beats. And there was another dude. So at this point it's like 2003, 2004. So I remember there was another dude in my high school that made beats too. And he was like, man, you got to use Fruity Loops. And I was like, what's that? And so he gave me the program. And I just started messing around in there. And at the time, the hottest producers were Pharrell, Timbaland, and Kanye West had just came out. And I remember those people, man, specifically were everything, especially Pharrell. I'm the biggest Pharrell fan there is.
I mean,
so just
were you living in Virginia Beach at this time?
I was living in Maryland at this time.
Okay.
Yeah. So yeah, I mean, every record, all the Jay-Z stuff, it was just all Pharrell, Kanye, Just Blaze too, and Timbo. So I was just really inspired by them, period.
Right.
So yeah, I was using Fruity Loops and the chop samples. I was using this program called SoundForge. I don't even know if they still make that, but yeah, it was just real raw in the beginning, just learning. And at that time, I couldn't read or write music or play any instruments. Right. So I was really a sample-based producer, early on, trying to chop samples like Kanye. So, so yeah.
Dope, man. Dope. That's awesome right there, man. I mean, you said that, a lot of the people you looked up to were kind of like hometown heroes. You mentioned Pharrell. You mentioned Teddy Riley to start off with, So Timbo as well, man. That's what's up, man. And shout out to Yamaha, man. I mean, so many dreams start off with Yamaha, you know. I mean, I had a Yamaha as well back in the day, and so many other, you know, producers now just started off just playing those keys and just messing around, not even knowing what we're doing, you know.
Right.
But yeah, that's what's up. Okay, man. Well, you said the first piece of software that you were actually making beats on. I mean, it might have been the Yamaha might have been the first piece of equipment, but I mean, like when you started taking it seriously, it was the Fruity Loops, right? Or FL?
I'd say when I started taking it seriously, I got my first MPC in 2007.
Dope, nice.
So I say that's when. Because you got to think, Fruity Loops back then, I don't even know if they had plugins back then, but if they did, like, they wasn't great.
Right.
Like, this is like 03, 04. So of course, all the producers that I love was using hardware. You know,
right.
You had Pharrell and Tim with the Triton.
Yep.
And the JV80, 1080, and then Kanye with the ASR, and Just Blaze with the FPC. So I wanted hardware.
Right.
You know, back, you know, like, again, it was a different time back then, so. You know, just getting my hands on it was difficult. But in 07, you know, I finally got one, and I think that's when I was like finally, you know, taking it seriously.
Yeah. Because I mean, back then, like, Fruity Loops wasn't taken seriously at all.
Oh,
like,
not at all. It was a joke.
Yeah,
I was afraid. I used to not even tell people I made.
Right. So I mean, what model of MPC did you get?
It was a 2000.
Nice. That's what's up, man. Classic piece right there. What was that like when you got it, man? Did you have to save up for it? Because I mean, that was pretty expensive back then. Did you have to save up for it, or you got?
Actually, I got a credit card and maxed it out.
Nice.
and got my MPC, man.
Dope, man. Great feeling, huh?
Oh yeah, it was, man.
Nice, man. Nice.
Incredible feeling.
All right, man. Well, the next question, I mean, I think you pretty much covered it. You know, we talked about some of the producers that inspired you growing up. You know, you talked about, like we said, some of the guys from that DMV area, and then you mentioned Just Blaze and Kanye as well, man. But I'm just gonna challenge you just a little bit, man. I want you to give me another name that isn't well known to a lot of people. You know. That might have inspired you, maybe like a wild card, you know what I mean? If that makes any sense.
Yeah. Pete Rock.
Nice. Okay.
I think there's a few, of course, Jay Dilla.
Nice.
Even though back when I was real young, I didn't even necessarily know it was him. But then looking back and doing my research, I'm like, wow. And then of course, you know, the greats. I studied them too. You know, the Quincy Jones and the Prince and people like that.
Nice.
Maurice White from Earth, Wind and Fire. Like all of those, you know, people kind of influenced me as well. So
that's what's up, man. That's what's up. Okay. All right, it's funny that, you know, you said you had to do your research on Dilla and you didn't even know that he did certain joints. You know, you're not the first person to say that. You know, many people have said that on this show. You know, and I know for me personally, you know, once he died and heard a bunch of his stuff, you know, it was like, damn, he did that? He did that?
Right.
You know, he did that right there? You know, it's crazy, man. But, yeah, I mean, all those guys that you just named are legends, man. So that's what's up. All right, man. Well, you know, here on Beats Grinding Life, man, we love having a great time. We love chatting about, you know, all the great things that you are doing and the rest of the guests. But we need to talk about the hard times as well, because the hard times are what makes us grow as people. And so, man, I want to ask you, man, what is a major setback or failure that you've had thus far in your career that you've been able to bounce back from, that you can tell us about so maybe we can avoid it?
I mean, there's a lot. I'd say early on, it was just, you know, in the Baltimore area, it's just not, I mean, it's a music scene, but as far as like commercial artists or any big name artists, you know, there's really not much there.
Right.
So So around at the time, graduating from high school, of course, my dream was to be, a producer. But at the time, it just was not a lot of opportunities in Baltimore, DC, or even Virginia, at Northern Virginia at that point. So I've been on my own since I was 17. So right after high school, as much as I wanted to do my dream, I kind of had to survive. So just working. You kind of you kind of lose sight of the dream a little bit. Surviving. I ended up moving to South Carolina for a while. Just to stay out of trouble in Maryland.
Right.
And it's really not any music scene at that time. And again, this is pre-internet, pre-Facebook, pre-YouTube, pre all of that. You know what I'm saying? So it's like if you didn't really know anybody like that, it really wasn't jumping off. You know what I'm saying? So after that, I joined the military. Just kind of to try to get back on my feet. And I was on a ship for 4 years in the Middle East. We went out to the Middle East and stuff like that. So I didn't have time to really do music like that, during those times. And then, I re-enlisted. I had a daughter. I was like, man, I guess I'll stick around for one more term. And, I bought a house in Virginia Beach. And, so I finally, life slowed down for me.
Right.
I kind of had time to, reflect on life and just kind of figure out, what it is that I really wanted to do, what made me happy. I was I think I had turned 25, and I was just like, music was always something that I loved. I really don't want to give up on this dream. I'm not too old. I'm 25. I feel like I can still do it.
Right.
So I I decided to make that decision and just start getting back into it. And after you, like anything, when you haven't done it for a while, this is going on maybe 5-6 years that, I hadn't even touched any music, you know what I mean? So it was just getting, and everything had changed, music had changed, so it was just getting caught up and back up to speed, man, was rough. So around this time, this is 2012, so, YouTube, it came out, and the YouTube tutorials was okay, but they, it's not like today where you can learn. So I learned so much on YouTube myself.
Yeah.
But back then it just wasn't that. So, and then so balancing out, I'm like, okay, now I want to do music full time, and it's just like, okay, I'm still in the military, so it's like, my time is limited.
Right.
So just figuring out the right moves. Even in Virginia at that time, in Virginia Beach, even though some of the biggest music producers of all time came from this area, it's just not the, it's not like Atlanta where, it's an industry there, there was still no industry in, Virginia Beach. However, I knew that, Timbaland had a studio there. And a funny story is, I figured out what Timbaland's studio was. It was actually 5 minutes away from my house in Virginia Beach.
Wow.
And so I had devised a plan. I was like, man, I'm going to make this hot demo. I'm going to go up to, Timbaland's studio, and he's going to sign me, and all of this stuff.
Right. So,
that was the plan. I was just trying to learn and make beats. And I finally got my demo ready. And I'm excited. I go and I knock on the door. And a guy opens the door. His name was Larry Live, who is actually Timbaland's A&R for Mosley Music.
Okay.
Yeah, his record label or whatever. So I knock on the door. I'm nervous. You know what I'm saying? I'm like, oh, okay. So I'm like, yeah, how you doing? My name is Innovator. I'm a producer. I just want to drop off my demo. And he was like, oh, okay. Yeah, I listened to your demo. And he let me come into the lobby. And he was like, yeah, he invited me to this little local talent show or whatever. So at that point I was excited.
Yeah.
I was looking forward to hearing from him. I got his email, and of course, like many stories, I never ended up, hearing anything. So it just let me know, it's still more work to do. So, and it was, a big learning curve for me, and I needed to do something to, catch up and and just get up to speed. And that's when I kind of, had made the decision to, move to Orlando and, do an audio school and just get, kind of caught up on all the years that I had kind of missed or whatever. So,
nice.
So, yeah.
Nice. Okay. Well, that's what's up, man. It sounds like to me, you're a big setback for you was just life. I mean, you were living life, and you just couldn't do what you love, which was making music. And then eventually you just had to figure, hey, I'm not happy doing what I'm doing now. Got to get back into it, man.
Yeah, for sure, man.
Yeah, man. Well, I'm sure most of us have moments like that. I know I have, and a lot of the beat grinders listening, I'm sure you guys have as well. And so that story is not too foreign, man, on this show. So thank you for sharing that, man. Really appreciate it.
Oh, no doubt, bro.
Beat grinders, I hope if you guys relate to this, man, I hope you guys can definitely just get back on it like the Innovator did. The Innovator definitely got back on it and made the right moves and is definitely on his way to success. So that's what's up, man. What made you move to Orlando? Was it just to go back to school to Full Sail?
Yeah, man, it was really just to go to Full Sail.
Okay.
To be honest, yeah.
That's what's up. How's the music scene out there?
There isn't much, but there are a few key players here. You know what I'm saying? So, I mean, long as you kind of are working with them, there's a little bit of an industry, but it's not like Atlanta or LA or New York or nothing like that. But,
right. Okay.
So it's tough, but if you get out and mingle and meet the right people, you can still make moves in the city. So.
All right, man. Well, we just brushed up on a setback for you, man, and sorry you had to go through that. Nobody likes talking about the hard times, but good thing we're about to hop on the other side of the fence, man. We're gonna talk about great moments, and so I want to know, what is the greatest moment that you've had thus far in your career?
Thus far, I mean, I like to think I'm still getting to my great moments
for sure.
It's definitely, even, with the successes, I think a lot of people see the successes and they don't see the 20 failures, behind that.
Right.
But yeah, I mean, I guess if I could say, up to now, it was just, just getting to the point now where, I'm an established sound designer, in the studio with A-list producers.
Nice.
I mean, that was a struggle in itself. And then, just being an up-and-coming producer, man, and just to be living off music, man. I remember, like I said, when I was in the military, man, just, kind of hating life, and just to be, living off of your dream, is priceless to me. So. Right.
That's dope, man. So it just sounds like your whole career is just a great moment, so far. So how do you get to that point, man? How do you get to the point to where you are in the studio with A-list producers and and you're designing sounds for A-list A-list producers? How did you get to that point? How did you get from hating life to where you are now?
Man, I tell people all the time, the biggest thing that you can do is just get out there and find like-minded people, find events, whether it's music conferences or beat battles or just anywhere where you can find people who love doing what you're doing, with the same things that you do, and just talk to them, man, and network. Like, I think people really underestimate the power of just talking to people and putting yourself out there and putting yourself in uncomfortable situations.
Nice.
And I feel like, like most people, I feel like, I don't necessarily think anyone likes to put themselves out there and, I mean, well, maybe some people like to go out there and just talk and mingle and,
right.
But, I mean, for a lot of people, I'm sure that's, an uncomfortable situation. But, what I've learned is just, you just throw yourself out there. And to be honest, most of my opportunities came from relationships, from just talking to people and just being a genuine person and just showing and telling people how much I love this stuff. And just, I think, a lot of the people that I met could just tell, whether it's SoundOracle or Ayo or, just the different people that I've worked with, they can just tell just, by my passion and persistence and just how much I love music,
Nice.
And I think that's like number one, is just getting out there wherever it is and just networking, talking to people, telling them what you do, who you are, and and people are gonna give you a shot,
Yeah.
So,
dope, man.
kind of up to you to just take the opportunity and make the most of it.
That's great advice right there, man. That's really good advice. I know a lot of people think that they have to, stay in the studio 24 and just grind it out, and but you said that the number one key is networking, talking to people. I think a great philosopher by the name of Kendrick Lamar said, "Conversation rules the nation," and so that's for sure. And also, I also heard that the more uncomfortable the situation is, the bigger the opportunity, or it's just you got to put yourself out there in order to get those opportunities, to give yourself a shot. So thank you for bringing that up. And and Beat Grinders, I hope that you guys are taking advice from this guy. I know I need to, and definitely talk to more people. So thank you, man. I appreciate that.
Oh yeah, for sure, man.
Dope, man. All right, man. Well, here on Beats Grinding Life, man, we are all obsessed with greatness. We want to be great. You're on your way to being great. You've taken yourself from hating life to now, doing what you love to do, man. And so I want to do that, man. I would love to be a full-time producer. And they say the way that, if you emulate people, you can one day have a life like them. And so I want to know, what do you do in a typical day? So therefore, maybe I can set up my day, or the Beat Grinders listening can set up their day like yours, so that we can emulate you and have the same kind of success that you've had.
Yeah, a typical day for me, I like to, first let me say, planning is everything.
Nice.
I know it sounds cliche, but I plan out my days, my hours.
Nice.
Every week, every day. So a typical day, there are some days where I'm just making beats, just stacking beats. And I think as any aspiring producer, you should be at least, I say in a week you should at least have the 3 finished beats a week. That should just be a regular part of your process. And then, so some days I'm beats. There's other days where I'm just making sounds, whether it's kind of like crafting presets or just creating, loops or stuff like that. Working with SoundOracle, we have different various projects. So, I'm kind of like, go-to guy when it comes to stuff like that. So I'm always kind of just churning them out and getting his approval on stuff.
Nice.
Like I said, we got a lot of projects in the in the works. So there's always something to do. So
nice.
So I'll take days out of the week to just make loops and samples and stuff like that. For producers and up and coming beat makers and stuff like that. And then learning. So I'll take days throughout the week to just watch YouTube tutorials.
Nice.
And I think people really underestimate, even when I was in the studio with Ayo, and he's an A-list producer. He was looking at a YouTube tutorial for something, so it just kind of showed me wow, no one is above, going on YouTube and just learning, so yeah, I definitely take a day to, or a couple days to just learn it and continue to get better. And I think that's, never ending, so.
Yeah.
So yeah, my days are kind of balanced between that and, and of course balancing, family, and, I have a daughter as well. So, just, making sure, I like to wake up early and kind of knock stuff out then, and then use the evenings to kind of cool down and chill with the family. So.
Dope, man. Dope. That's awesome, man. That sounds like a perfect week, man. Sounds like a great week, but I'm just gonna I'm gonna push you a little more, man. I want to know a little more details, man. I know that you said you make at least 3 beats a week. I want to, if you can break it down for us in days, like how many days are you spending on sound design? How many days are you spending on beats? If you don't mind, if that, if I'm not going too far.
So within a week?
Yeah.
So yeah, I'll say I'll spend maybe 3 days out of the week on beats, and another 3 days on kind of sound design, and then I kind of lend my weekends to learning.
Dope.
And just to kind of cool down and relax, so I'm not as stressed and stuff like that. But I mean, I say all that to say that sometimes the lines blur and I end up doing that stuff on any random day. But but yeah, ideally, that's kind of like my schedule.
Okay. And do you keep yourself pretty? I mean, is it? I know you said that the lines blur, but are there ever days where you're like, okay, this is a beat making day, and then either you're like, I don't feel like doing it, or I'm just not feeling the vibe right now. Maybe I'll do sound design.
For sure, man. I think I learned that. Oh, go ahead.
Oh, I'm sorry, man. I was just gonna say, because I know like Decap was saying sometimes he makes his best beats on days that he doesn't feel like making beats.
Yeah, I mean, that's actually a good point. To be honest, I do that a lot. I think I learned that concept from just being in the military. Like, if I'm making a beat and I'm just like, it's just not happening, I'll switch to sound design. Okay. And it'll kind of re-inspire me in a different way. And then I go back to making a beat and I kind of figure out what I was, was kind of lacking. So yeah, I mean, there are definitely days where I'm like, yo, these are beat days. I'm only going to make beats, and then I end up making some dope loops, you know what I'm saying? Nice. Or I'm supposed to be making beats, and I end up on YouTube and learn something that makes my beat even better, you know what I'm saying?
Right.
So
nice.
Yeah, for sure. Nice.
I guess as long as you're productive, right?
Oh yeah, for sure.
Nice. I know sometimes me personally, like I'll be trying to do sound design or make loops, and then those loops just end up turning into beats, or I mean, does that ever happen to you? Or
man, I say a lot. Right. I'm like, man, I think I'm gonna keep this one for myself.
Right.
I'm gonna make a beat out of this one.
Right.
So yeah, that happens a lot.
Okay. Well, that's what's up, man. Thank you for sharing, man. I know I was, kind of pressing you a little more, mainly for myself, mainly just to see what your regimen is, and like I said, maybe I can imitate it and get some of the same success as you, man. So thank you, man. I appreciate that.
Oh, for sure, bro.
All right, man. Well, this next portion of the interview we like to call In the Studio. I can't see what your studio is like. I'm not, I can't work with you in the studio, but the next best thing is this portion where we get to find out what you do in the studio, how you do it, and what you do it with. So, you ready, man?
I'm ready.
All right. What's the first thing that you do when you first start crafting beats? Do you have a set ritual? Do you like to turn on some lights, open the drapes, have some coffee? Is there anything that you do?
Actually, yeah. So the first thing I do, I wake up in the morning. I got, my own studio, in a separate room. So, I'll like, wake up, get ready for the day, eat. That's important. I mean, I think some people really underestimate eating. They'll just go straight in there, and nothing's worse than when you're hungry and trying to make beats. Let me tell you.
Right. For sure.
But yeah, I'll go in, open the blinds. I need sunlight. I need like natural light.
Right.
In the morning. And I'll sit down and just if it's I'll look and see what did I have on my schedule to do today, and I open up my software and just kind of go at it.
Okay.
It can start with like if I'm making beats, it could be drums first sometimes, or sometimes I'll start with chords, or sometimes I'll start with melody. There's really no set instructions on how I start. I kind of just try to whatever inspires me.
Nice.
I think that's important.
Yeah.
I try not to force anything, because when it's forced, like I can't do it.
Right.
I try to just, I'll even go on and listen to some stuff on YouTube and just to get inspired. Listen to old records. I got a crazy vinyl collection. I'll put on some records and just vibe out. And just listen, and I'll hear a chord progression or something, and I'd be like, oh man, let me,
Nice.
try to freak that.
Dope, man. Dope. Okay. All right, man. So what's a not so secret weapon that you have in the studio?
Let me think. I use a lot of stock stuff that people. I'm an Ableton guy.
Wow.
I use Fruity Loops. I still call it Fruity Loops. FL and Pro Tools. I like everything gets bounced down into Pro Tools and mixed in Pro Tools and all of that.
Nice.
And but yeah, I lost my train of thought.
Not so secret weapon.
Oh yeah. I use stock, like a lot of stock stuff. So
Wow.
I use in Ableton. I use the stock overdrive. Like a lot of people ask me like, how do I get my 808s to hit? I use literally the stock overdrive in Ableton. EQ is everything. I don't really use a lot of like EQ boosting or cutting like that, because it kind of tends to give phasing issues. But I use a lot of filters. So like for my 808s, like I duplicate my my 808. I'll duplicate it. So one track is just the lows, and then another track is just the mids. And I'm because when you add distortion to an 808, if you just add it to one 808, you're gonna lose all your low end.
Right.
So I kind of separate it with filters. So you got your mid and you got your lows, and I'll add overdrive to the mid, and the low I'll add something like R bass or what's the voice of God, UAD voice of God, to get that low end or whatever. But but yeah, man, I use a lot of stock stuff, and I think people would really be surprised how much stock stuff I use.
Yeah, I'm surprised when you said that. You making sounds for other people. I mean, a lot of people, they want to go out and buy, a bunch of expensive gear and you're just using, the stock stuff that came with your DAW or program. That's awesome.
Yeah, I think I went through that phase, man, where, I felt like you had to have the dopest stuff to be dope. And I did it. Like I went and bought all of that stuff just to find out that there was stock stuff that could do it better.
Right, yep.
You know what I mean? So, I think with any tool you have, I just feel like it's learning that tool to its greatest ability and just using it in your own way.
Yep.
Yeah.
That's so true, man. I mean, the cheapest hammer at the hardware store is probably just as effective as the most expensive hammer.
Exactly.
So, that's what's up, man. Well, thank you for that, man. I mean, you even dropped some gems in there about how to get your 808s to hit the way that you do. Thank you for that, man. That's what's up.
Oh yeah, no problem, man.
Okay, man. Well, I want to know what else do you have in the studio? What all is in your toolbox? What's in your arsenal right now, these days?
So right now, like I said, I use Ableton. I make all my beats in Ableton, and then I take all the stems and I put them. I run everything through FL, just because for whatever reason things just, to me, sonically just sound better in FL, and they hit harder for whatever reason. And I think that's no secret nowadays. I say most of the hits that you hear on the radio are made on FL. So,
yeah, which is just crazy.
So I tend to run my stuff through FL. I still have some hardware. Well, I got a lot of hardware. So I have an ASR 10, and I use that to kind of run stuff through just to make it kind of just
dirty, more
warm, and it just gives stuff a different feel. Like almost like when you run kind of like plugins through the ASR, they just sound real, like it came from hardware. So I'll run a lot of stuff and sample it into the ASR and just sample it back into Ableton or Pro Tools.
That's dope.
I have I have some Yamaha HS8 speakers, and I kind of use those to make beats or whatever. And then to mix, I'm using Adam's A7Xs. I have a UAD Apollo 8 interface.
Nice.
My keyboard is a Akai MPK 88, so I got like an 88 key weighted keyboard.
Okay.
I got like all the sound modules from back in the day when I was a kid. You know, all the stuff my mom could never get me. You know, when I finally had the money, I got that. So I got like the Triton.
Nice.
And you know, the old EMU, Planet Fat, all that stuff.
That's
so
dope.
You know, and it's kind of like an edge for me because it's like, you know, a lot of these kids, it's like, you know, it sounds new to them, but you know, it's like, kind of like people my age, you know, all those Timbaland and Pharrell sounds, all that stuff came from the Triton, the Trinity, and the, you know, all that chord stuff. So it's like, you know, right. So it's kind of like, you know, it's like a treat for the older dudes, and then it's kind of like, you know, something new for the newer guys. So, So and yeah, and then you know, I really do have like every VST known to man, to be honest. Like the whole every Waves, you know, plug-in I think I have, you know, a lot of the UAD stuff. Fab Filter I like a lot. Sound Toys, of course, I use. Decapitator a lot.
Okay.
Echo Boy a lot.
Wow, man. I mean,
yeah.
I said that, you know, I couldn't be in your studio to make beats or anything, man, but I mean, hey, I might be on the next flight with all that stuff that you just listed.
Come through, man. Come through.
That's what's up, man. I mean, you know, it really does sound like you have a fun time in there. You have tons and tons of stuff, you know. One thing that, you know, I did mention to another guest on here, you know, they said that they're working backwards by buying hardware, you know, and I told them, I said, I think you're working forward by buying hardware because everyone else is buying software, and that's giving you an edge. So, you know, when you said that you had all the sound modules, that's exactly what I thought of. You know, you have an edge, you know, on everybody else, and you know, in the way that you're running your samples through the ASR, and you know, you're doing stuff different than what other people are doing, and that's differentiating yourself from the rest of the pack, man. And I gotta salute you on that, man, by creating your own sound, man. That's what's up, man.
Man, I gotta give credit to Kanye and Pharrell and Tim, man. The whole reason I have all this stuff is because of them. You know
right.
Watching Fade to Black and watching Tim and Pharrell and Kanye make beats, I was like, oh man, we gotta get that. So when I finally got the money, I was like, man, I gotta see what this stuff is about. That's
what's up, man. That I love it, man. I really do. I love it. So you know, I want to know what's on your wish list now, man. What's the next thing that you want to get?
So it's actually more hardware. You know, I do the engineering thing too, so I record a lot of people. So I'm actually looking to get a CL1B tube tech compressor, like the compressor that everyone uses on their vocals nowadays, and you know, a Neve preamp, stuff like that.
Right.
Just more like engineering hardware. Yeah.
Awesome, man. That's what's up. Okay. Well, beat grinders, if the Innovators mention anything that, you know, you wanted to check out, definitely go to the website beatsgrindinglife.com and look under the Innovators show notes, and I'll definitely have a list of everything that he just mentioned. All right, man. Well, this next portion is called In the Mix. We're just going to speed things up just a little bit. I'm going to ask you a question. You spit the answer back to me quickly. It's kind of like rapid fire. But if you need to take your time, man, please do.
Okay.
All right, man. Do you prefer making beats with samples or without?
Without.
Okay. What's your opinion on selling and leasing beats online?
I think it's dope. I think people underestimate how much money you can make once you kind of cater your marketing and you target the right audience. But I mean, I think it's dope. There's a lot of like hit making producers that sell beats online. I think Young Land, who did Booty for Black Youngster, he sells beats online. Taz Taylor, Internet Money. Yeah, I know them guys, you know, sell beats online, and they all got placements on, you know, platinum records. So yeah, I think it's dope.
Right. I think before, I mean, and this was probably just a couple years ago, where people were saying, okay, you have to choose. You have to either be, you either have to be someone chasing placements, or you have to be someone that's selling and leasing beats online. And I think that is no longer anymore, thanks to guys like them, for sure.
Yeah, you don't have to choose. I mean, I think more and more we're starting to see that, you can really do what you want. Like, there are no rules to this game,
right?
And especially with streaming services, and like, everything's changing. What's platinum now is different from what it was years ago. So I mean, people are just adapting and finding new ways to kind of just get in the game and make income, and
right. That's what's up, man. Okay. Well, you said that you have tons of plugins and VSTs, man, but name a plugin or VST that you think every producer should have in their arsenal.
Man, that's hard. I'd say Fab Filter EQ.
Nice.
Just because that is something I use like every day.
Yeah. Okay, for sure.
Yeah.
Simple to use, and it works very well. I have the Fab Filter bundle, and me too. I definitely use that as well, man. So, okay. All right, man. What's a book that you think every producer should read? And it doesn't have to be music related, but it can be.
The one that comes to mind immediately, I think Timbaland's new book he came out with maybe like a year ago. It's pretty dope. He kind of gives some insight on some things. And there's a book that talks about like publishing and like everything you need to know. I think it's made by Jeff Grayback or something like that. He's the author of it.
Okay.
But it's like a book that talks about just publishing, and it updates every couple of years or every year to just kind of give people insight who make music how to approach copyright publishing and all of that stuff. And that's important.
Yeah.
So.
Okay. Well, thank you for those. Thank you for those suggestions. I haven't read either of those, and I've been meaning to read the Timberland one, and then just kind of forgot about it. But I'll definitely get back on that. So thank you. And Beat Grinders, if you guys want, I'll leave the link in the show notes. You guys can go check it out as well. And I want you guys to remember as well, you can also get a free book if you go to beatsbooks.com. So one, just like the Innovator mentioned, go there and get your free book. All right, man. Is there an internet resource that you use that you think every producer could benefit from? And when I say internet resource, I mean an app or a website.
Like YouTube?
Yeah, for sure.
YouTube, man. I say it again, like, do not underestimate the power of YouTube. There are literally people who have platinum records doing tutorials on there, and I even shout out a couple YouTube channels that I really are like my go-to.
Please do.
You got Internet Money, so like Nick Mira and all those cats. Of course, SoundOracle's YouTube.
Definitely
put up a lot of stuff on there. What else? Actually, one that people probably wouldn't think that I would watch, KBZ. This little 17-year-old kid, man, and he actually has placements and stuff like that, but he be giving away gems.
Wow.
And one thing I learned, man, is never think, no matter what success you have, never think that you're too good to learn from somebody else, man. Even if they're younger than you. True. Or whatever.
That's so
music
true.
changes, and and you gotta adapt. And I'm telling you, these YouTube tutorials is definitely helping out. I know A-list producers that are watching these same YouTube channels. You know what I'm saying? So,
yep, that's what's up, man. So Internet Money, which they have great tutorials. Of course, SoundOracle. Everybody should know about him, and I gotta shout him out. He always shouts out this show, so I gotta shout him out as loud as I can and say, you guys definitely go check out SoundOracle and everything that he does, YouTube and his website and everything. So,
yeah,
and then
super dope.
Yes, definitely. Then you said KBZ?
Yeah, KBZ.
I'm not familiar, but I'm definitely about to get familiar. So anybody 17 with placements, I mean.
Oh yeah.
So yeah, no doubt, man. Okay. Well, thank you, because you could have just left it at YouTube, but you definitely gave us some places to go and check out once we get to YouTube. So thank you for that.
Yeah, no problem.
All right, man. Well, a lot of us on here on Beats Grinding Life, we don't have placements. I want to know, do you have a placement?
I don't, but I do have some things in the works.
Okay. All right. Well, man, maybe, a little later you can come back and you can answer this question about, what's your first placement. But yeah, we'll save that one for another time. So.
Yes, sir.
All right, man. Well, what's your favorite song that you ever produced?
It's a song called Grit that hasn't came out yet.
Okay.
But hopefully, you guys will hear about that soon.
Yeah, most definitely, man.
Yeah.
Looking forward to it. Can you tell us anything about it? Can you tell us the artist, or can you tell us like a story how it happened? I
can't say the artist.
Okay.
But it kind of came through again just networking and meeting people. I met a guy, an A&R. And just kind of submitted some beats, and you guys should be hearing something soon. But yeah, it's a somewhat big artist.
Okay.
We're spitting on it.
So dope. Well, man,
fingers crossed.
Yeah, for sure, man. Well, Beat Grinders, you guys definitely be on the lookout for a song Grit. If you see any song Grit, you definitely should look at the production credits and see if our boy the Innovator did that. So, all right, man. Well, what's an album besides one that you worked on that you recommend every producer listen to, and why?
Old or new?
Yep, old or new. Any album.
I would say for me, The Chronic 2001.
Nice.
Just because sonically that album is just incredible.
And
I think it just, even to this day, it still stands the test of time. Like when I put that record in and I still hear the drums and the way they hit, I'm still like, man, them shit like still hitting hard.
Right. Yeah.
And just what Dr. Dre did, just setting the standard as far as sonics and hip hop, period. So I mean, I know that's an oldie but goodie. Maybe some of the younger dudes haven't checked that out, but yeah, definitely, Chronic 2001.
Oh yeah, man, it's definitely one to reference for sure, man. All right, man. Well, I want to know, man. I'm giving you a pick and a hammer, and we're at Mount Rushmore, and I need you to put 4 new faces up there. And the faces have to be producers. What producers are going up on your Mount Rushmore?
Okay. Well, first and foremost, it would have to be Pharrell.
Nice.
In my humble opinion, I feel like he's the greatest.
I can't argue.
Some people say, probably not, but I have to say, to me, he's the greatest.
Right.
Definitely Timbaland. Dr. Dre.
Nice.
And the last spot, man, that's hard. We're just gonna have to go and say Dilla.
Nice. That's a great 4 right there, man. I mean, wow, that's an awesome 4. I mean, I feel like just hearing the people you just named, I think that we should all be looking forward to hear some of your music, because if you're drawing inspiration from those guys, you got like boom bap legends, you got people that are moving the clubs, you got so I can just imagine your style being versatile. You know what I mean? So
yeah, for sure.
That's what's up, man. That's a great 4 right there, man. And I'm not mad at you at all for saying Pharrell is the best of all time. No one can argue with that with his resume.
Oh, for sure.
All right, man. Well, I want you to imagine we're still in imaginative mode, man. So I want you to imagine, and you can definitely take your time on these answers, man. But I want you to imagine that you just came out of the perfect studio session, and in that studio session, you had with you one artist, one producer, one engineer, and one random person. And these people can be dead or alive. Who are those 4 people going to be?
All right, so you said artists.
Yep.
Artists would be Biggie Smalls, Notorious B.I.G.
Nice.
And you said producer.
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna have to go with Pharrell.
Damn.
Engineer, I'd have to say Jason Joshua. He's like my favorite engineer. Everything he does, everything that I didn't probably told y'all, I probably learned from just studying him. And
nice.
And to go back to one of those YouTube channels, man, I forgot Pensado's Place.
Yeah,
If y'all don't watch Pensado's Place, you're wrong.
Definitely, man. Definitely. Yeah, man.
But yeah, Jason Joshua, man. Everything he spits out, I mean, he's like the hottest engineer for the last 5 years. I mean, he's mixed everything from Havana to Despacito.
Wow.
I mean, you name it. That's the guy crafting the hits.
I actually found out about him on Pensado's Place.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So yeah, Jason Joshua is the engineer. So that was what I got. One more left. You said random person.
Yep, random person. Anybody in the world.
Man. I don't know. I mean, I don't know. Maybe my daughter. I could,
Okay.
show her, teach her, what I do.
Yeah, that's what's up, man.
Yeah.
Well, man, that sounds great right there. That sounds like a perfect session, man. I mean, I would love to hear, the 5 of you guys. I don't know, maybe your daughter can contribute, but I'd love to hear what the 5 of you guys would make. I think that would be a dope song, a dope EP, or dope album. So that's what's up.
Sure.
All right, man. Well, I want you to imagine again, man, that you just woke up and you just found yourself on a new planet identical to Earth.
Okay.
Except for you have nothing. You lost everything except for the knowledge that you gained over your career and $1,000 of that currency. What are you going to do in the next week to restart your music career?
That's a good question. I'm gonna get the cheapest laptop I can find.
Nice. And are you gonna go like used, or are you gonna go brand new, or?
I mean, if I got $1,000, I'm gonna go used.
Nice.
'Cause I can slick it and just do whatever.
Right.
And then I guess at that point it would have to be either FL or Ableton, the cheaper versions. And to be honest, that'd be all I need. All the other stuff, I mean, they're nice, but I can kind of do without them. I can find drums online, really, to be honest.
Yeah.
For free, so.
That's true.
So yeah.
I mean, and plus, I think the most important thing that you have, of course you got that $1,000, but you have the knowledge, and being a sound design guy, you can probably freak any drums, that you find. You can find stock drums and just, make them bang.
I definitely know how to make them hit. Yeah.
That's what's up, man. Well, thank you for that answer, man. I really appreciate it, and I'm sure the beat grinders appreciate it. And it is a crazy question, and the reason why I do ask that question is because there's people on that people that are listening to this show that want to become producers, and they have the money and they just don't know where to start. And so maybe your answer can help out, you know. And then there's people also whose equipment has malfunctioned, or they've lost their equipment to theft or whatever, and need to figure out the next move, how to get back on. So thank you for that, man.
Oh, for sure, bro.
All right, man. Well, you know, when it's all said and done, man, when it's time to wrap this thing up, man, I want to know, what do you want your legacy to be? What do you see your legacy being, and what does legacy mean to you?
I think, you know, since a young age, I've always just wanted to be known as, you know, the person who, when people think of hip hop or dope beats or stuff like that, like, you know, my name comes to mind, just like Pharrell and Timbaland or those type of dudes, you know, changing the culture. Just, you know, I've always just, you know, I used to DJ early on, like, you know, and what I loved about DJing was, like, I had control, I had power, like to invoke emotion, to change the mood of the whole room. You know, I could put on a slow jam and everybody's, you know, in their feelings, no pun intended.
Right.
Or, you know, I put on Little John back in the day and everybody's, you know, throwing bows and getting turned up. You know, it's like, that's just the power of music. And to be able to wield that weapon, man, I think it's so powerful. You know, even I mean, and no one is exempt from the power of music. You know what I mean? Not even like the president. You know, you know, we all feel emotion from music, and I just feel like it's so powerful, man. So I mean, if I could just be known as someone who, you know, you play one of my songs, or, you know, someone's, you know, going through something, and you know, one of my records made them feel better, man. I mean, that's the real reason why I do it, man, and that's what I would, you know, want to be known for.
Nice.
I mean, I think, of course, everybody wants to be the best. I think that's, you know, at the top of everybody's list, but, you know, at the core, you know, that's why I do music.
Nice, man. Nice. That's awesome, man. That's you know, being selfless. I mean, you're not doing it for selfish reasons. You're doing it to help other people, you know, and that's awesome right there, man. All right, man. Well, what's the greatest piece of advice that you received, and what advice would you have for all the beat grinders listening today?
Oh, the greatest advice that I ever got was, no matter your success level, you should always approach everything you do like you are starting at zero. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm. Nice.
And then, you know, always, you know, treat the people that you encounter on the way up, you know, good and the same, you know, because the people, you know, you see on the way up are the same people you see on the way down, you know? So, you know, always just, you know, kind of, I mean, I know it sounds cliche, but just being a good person really just goes a long way, you know? I'm not saying, you know, you gotta be super nice or nothing like that, but, you know, just looking out for people and just doing the right thing, man, and just, you know, not, you know, screwing people over and just keeping it real, man. You'd be surprised, like, you know, how many, like, A-list people I've met, and, you know, I'm nervous, you know, expecting them to be a certain type of way, and then, you know, I sit down and I meet them, and I'm just like, wow, you're just a regular person, you know. And I think if you approach everything like people are just people, you'll be all right, you know.
Dope, man. Dope. Well, thank you for that advice, man. That's great advice right there. You know, it's crazy because, I mean, you always remember how somebody treated you. You know, you may not you may not remember exactly what they did to you, but you remember how they made you feel, you know. And so, you know, I think that's a Maya Angelou quote. Yeah, right. I mean, I kind of butchered it a little bit, but
but yeah, I mean, it's a huge point. Like, even to this day, like, I remember my childhood. I don't even necessarily remember what they said to me,
right?
Or what they, to be honest, even what they did, but I remember how they treated me.
Yeah.
And that's just, it's human beings. Like, no one forgets that, you know. So I think it's important. Like, people are always gonna remember that.
Yeah, no doubt, man. Well, thank you for that advice, beat grinders. I hope that you guys are definitely going to take that advice, because that's the only way that you're going to move up, that you're going to level up, you know. So, all right. I want you to give, you know, the beat grinders any last words that you have. We reached the end of the interview, man. Just let them know what you're working on, what they should be expecting from you? Tell them, you know, that they probably need to cop Sample Genesis from you, and also
first and foremost,
yeah, go ahead, it's your stage, man.
Yeah, man. First and foremost, man, definitely cop Sample Genesis, new MIDI video game inspired loops, MIDI loops and sample loops. It's a project me and SoundOracle did together. You can catch it SoundOracle.net. I'm very excited about the project. It's kind of like the first official project me and SoundOracle have done, even though I've been working with him for years. Kind of like behind the scenes, but yeah, man. I mean, we getting like huge reviews over this thing, man. Like everybody and their mom is just talking about, you know, just how much they're loving it. So, I mean, and again, like a lot of producers out here, man, are flipping samples, and we give you the MIDI too. So you know, feel free to take it and use it in your own way. But yeah, so yeah, definitely look out for that. And this whole summer, man, me and SoundOracle definitely about to flood the block, man. So we just releasing kits and kind of just just giving producers just an edge. It's definitely like a new kind of like era in SoundOracle.net. So yeah, as far as the sound design stuff, man, you can look out for that. As far as the production, like I said, I got some things in the works. All of the people that follow me, if you don't follow me on all social media, you can follow me at I Am The Innovator. And definitely, stay tuned. I got some big things coming as far as the production and engineering. Definitely, I mean, it's more behind the scenes, but, I'll definitely, continue to share some of that stuff with you guys too, as it comes up.
Nice.
But yeah, engineering, man, is just, it's like wearing two hats, but they all complement each other. For me. So.
Okay.
But yeah.
Cool, man. Well, thank you for coming on the show, man. Thank you for blessing, Beats Grinding Life. No doubt, man. It was a pleasure having you, man. I mean, you were very, very transparent. And you dropped many gems, and
man, I try to keep it real, man, because I remember being that kid who just wanted, man, and I met a lot of high profile people, man, and they kind of just beat around the bush, and I hated it, man. So I mean, and one thing I learned is like, just because people drop gems, I mean, you still gotta learn how to do it. You know what I mean? So it's no loss to me, man. I just always been one of them dudes who's just like, man, some secrets I could just tell, man. Just help people out, man. It costs you nothing. So
nice. That's what's up, man. Well, I'm still definitely one of those kids that's meeting producers like yourself and loving to get secrets from you guys and implement them into my own production. So I appreciate it, man. Salute to you. And yeah, thank you once again, man. Appreciate it.
Thank you, bro. I appreciate you having me, man. Huge fan of the show.
Oh, thank you, man. And Beat Grinders, I want to thank you guys for tuning in to another episode of Beats Grinding Life. If this show meant anything to you, if you guys found any value out of it, please share it on all social media platforms and tag the Innovator. Let him know personally what you guys thought of the show, and tag me as well and let me know what you guys thought of it. And if you haven't already, please go rate and review the podcast on iTunes. It really means a lot. That helps spread the word on how awesome this show is. So you guys, thank you again. Keep making beats, keep grinding, and keep living life. All right, peace, y'all.
Here at Beats Grinding Life, we want to thank you for listening to another episode. We want to know, what were your biggest takeaways from this interview? Just go to beatsgrindinglife.com and leave a comment on this episode's show notes page. Also, while you are there, go subscribe to the podcast on iTunes. just click the little button that says subscribe. If you could, please leave a rating and review. Rating and reviews are the best way to show your appreciation because it helps more people find out about the podcast. So until next week's episode, keep grinding.